Kingy, we've come up with a new strategy, which is to sum up every team and to chat about every game with one statement. You've got the home teams this morning.
Home teams is me.
The away teams. We're going to start with Gold Coast and Adelaide. Before we get to your thoughts, let's have a listen to Matthew Nick's post-match on the controversial umpiring decisions.
You need every bit of luck in that moment. That last minute and a half, we clearly didn't get things going our way. So I sort of sit here as a coach and say, well, what do I preach to the players? I preach about you being in the moment. Don't blame others. You got to butter up and go again next week. So I'm doing my best to stay in that space. But I'd say there's some really frustrated fans of ours out there, and I feel for them, and I'm a little bit with them. But yeah, we need to be better at the start of the game.
Do you think Rank's marked it?
My version of it is, I think if he didn't mark it, he's tackled in a marking contest.
I'm talking about Well, I thought it was a free kick, and not necessarily a mark. Excuse me.
Oh, he's going to sneeze.
Sneeze? Nah, gone.
Fake sneeze.
It was coming. It was there. Don't worry. It was there. It could have been either. Couldn't it? I thought at the time it was a mark in fast motion, and then in slow motion, which obviously the umpires don't have the luxury of. It had to be either a mark or a free kick. They're just unlucky, the Crows. They're 50-50 calls that really haven't gone their way.
Think you would have kicked it, your boy?
Oh, would he have kicked it? Mate, some people live for those moments. That's my man. That's what he. I'm talking about the Suns, right? And I thought, are you aware of what a syzygy is?
No.
A syzygy, it's the Suns' syzygy in 2025. A syzygy is when the stars align.
Okay.
And I think everything is aligning, like an eclipse, if you want to use a different term. Prime time, Matt Rowell, Anderson and King, they're in the sweet spot, 23, 24 years of age. Reinvented Tuke Miller, who looks he's moving perfectly.
I thought he was the best player on the ground.
Yeah, just his running power is evident again. They've added Rioli, who just goes at 100%. He's 100% Dan. He doesn't miss targets. He makes the right decisions at the right time. And just sprinkle a little bit of nasty into the game with the don't talk smack to Mac, because he is going to put some heat and some passion into the contest. I loved the lot. I love the fact that we're talking today about someone at the Gold Coast who stood up for himself and went over the top. Absolutely. Hasn't found the levels yet, and probably started at 10 out of 10 instead of 7 out of 10. But I secretly think Damien Hardwick will be thinking, this is good. This is us. We've got an edge.
Good stuff. Yeah, I didn't mind it either. And particularly because he nailed that last spoil on the thrill seeker, who's just emerging as one of the biggest stars Adelaide have had since Tony Modra. Like, that's a big call, but gee whiz, be fun to watch him for the next 10 years. But I didn't mind the aggro for Mac either. And clearly he's wound them up. We saw it in the pre-season with Gold Coast. They played Brisbane, and they're in the face of the reigning premiers in a pre-season game. Clearly that's been a focus. That's the way the coach played. They're more resilient. They usually lose these games by close margins. They've lost a stack of them recently. So to hang on and win, that'd be thrilled. Can they win it for you? Can Gold Coast win the flag?
Well, I think they can finish top four. If you finish top four, you're a hell of a chance. Yeah. A hell of a chance.
I think they can win it.
I think there's one spot in the top four. There's a good chat with Max Lawton yesterday. There's one spot in the top four available. I think it'll either be the Suns or the Crows. No. I just reckon that they're there. Soft draw, playing good footy, great start to the year, away they go.
I've got Adelaide. Of course, all the talk was about that blunder in the Isaac Rankin crucial late mark. Their big three up forward kicked 12 of 14 goals. I still think there's defensive vulnerabilities in terms of personnel. Like, is Borlase and Kane going to get the job? Probably not. Now, Murray didn't play, so that'll help somewhat, but Murray's not.
He's a star, mate.
You think he's a star?
Yeah.
I don't think he's a star. I think
he's better than people give him credit for.
Key defender short. That's what I think. Their medium-sized interceptors are great. Michael Aney, you know my thoughts on him. Worrell's emerging, and Hinge. So those three are terrific, but I think they're a key defender short, and they're a small forward short, if not two.
Rochelle out hurts.
But Rankin playing more midfield time. Keys is not he doesn't play really like a high-pressure small forward. He's more a defensive forward who can, do his damage. But I think they're a small forward short and a key defender short, which may just cost them a shot at being a genuine contender. That's what I walked away thinking.
Well, we touched on first crack last night. So we talk about ball-winning Nick Dacos versus ball-using Nick Dacos. Well, Rankin's a bit the same. He only had, I've just got the notes here somewhere.
10 clearances.
He had 6 disposals in the forward half of the ground, the lowest he's had for 3 years. So that needs addressing. His clearances, everyone says, "Oh, is he winning too much inside?" If you go and look at his clearances, they were fantastic clearances. His ability to get the ball from inside out was just terrific. But the guys that he's giving it to are nowhere near as good as him. So maybe there needs to be a little recalibration
And
there.
I'm not certain, as much as all the idiots, as I told you, in filling up my mentions about Taylor Walker and the throw, he's going to do it a different way than anyone's ever done it before, Matthew Nicks. If he's going to win it with 4 big, immobile key forwards, he's going to do something no one's ever done. So
Why 4?
Curtin. So
They're never on the ground at the same time.
well, it doesn't matter. No one's ever done
There's
it.
always
with,
3.
No one's ever done it with 4.
One's on the bench.
Yeah, but you need runners on the bench. Now, often
No, you don't.
key forwards start the season really well, and we're seeing it everywhere. Because the
They
conditions
always start slowly.
No, key forwards, we always talk about it. We had it the other year when Jeremy Cameron started on fire. Oh, Jeremy Cameron's going to kick 100. No, he's not. Key forwards start well because ball movement is great. The conditions are perfect. Wait till winter sets in. As your man Horny always says, finals are won on the ground, not in the air. So if he's going to win it with 4 key forwards, he's going to do something that no one has ever done. So as much as you text stands keep filling up my mentions on Twitter, good luck to you.
Who? What?
Well, the text lovers. It's a cult out there for text.
The Twitter?
I've been critical
Oh, for
of that.
text?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a bit harsh on Tex. He's in good form.
He's in really good form. But
Just give him some flowers.
I have.
That didn't sound like
I'm
it.
just saying to you, if Matthew Nicks is going to do it with 4 key forwards, he's going to do something no one has ever done before. And it's completely against the trend of the way finals have been won recently. So, it's a watch. And I'm not conceding.
I know you won't. I know you won't concede. No, look, it's working perfectly. And let's see, it's a tough loss, that one, because that 4 points would have been seriously handy on the road. But just to put it to bed, you're a fan of what Mac Andrew did, but maybe just a fraction too far?
Yeah, no, I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe it's not something I would have done and have a bit more class probably.
No, we've done it. You've done it, I've done it.
Yeah, I have done it.
Yeah, we both have. You carry on like a pork chop and you think, oh, was it
in
far?
hindsight, I went a bit too far. Yeah, but I think they've got an attitude about them that I like. Yesterday at the Adelaide Oval, as we
do you know what is the most useless thing in the world, apart from ashtrays on motorbikes, right? is the AFL coming out and saying, "Hey guys, really sorry, we should have paid a mark there or a free kick, so enjoy your day." Like, what is the point of that?
There's no point in doing that. Because you can go through the whole game and there's errors that have been missed. I sort of made this point on 7 last night. Kane throws the ball in the goal square. Throws it. It would have been a shot from the top of the goal square, and the AFL don't mention that in their review. They only mention the ones in the last 2 minutes of the game. Why do they clarify that and not others? I've never, ever understood that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's move on to the Adelaide Oval yesterday afternoon. It was St Kilda, who were really good, getting the better of Port Adelaide, who are really bad. Here's Ross Lyon speaking post-game.
We had a look at Essendon and they competed really well in there, and we thought, well, we better compete. It's not rocket science. We better compete really well in this. But it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to do it and do it for 2 hours. So I think that's where it's pleasing.
Oh, couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe what?
Well, you line up the names in the midfield, right? You line them up and pick who wins on paper.
No one wins on paper.
I know, but if you did, I mean, we often judge everything on paper. We judge lists on paper, we judge talent on paper, we judge heaps of stuff on paper. If you line that up on paper at the first bounce yesterday, you go, there's no way this St Kilda midfield can compete, let alone completely dismantle and smash Port Adelaide. But anyway, Kingy,
so I know you want to get to it.
You've got the home team.
I know you want to get to it. Look, it just reminded me of an old tune, the Port Adelaide Football Club.
Got a tune.
It's sort of sad. You know, I feel like Ken's a bit of a prisoner to this farcical handover period. And then when I see Kenny on the bench, I feel a bit sad for him. I see him talking to Horn Francis every 5 minutes. I see Butters out there when he's not 100% right to go, Cornsey. It makes me think of the old prisoner, you know, Betty Smith. B. Smith, I should say, Joan Ferguson, those kind. Butters is trying to get out of there. He's a prisoner over there at the moment. He's leaving.
He's leaving, is he?
He'll leave.
All right.
He'll go. the captain, who should be the vice captain. There's just a few things wrong. There's just a few things wrong, and the sad music comes to me when I watch Port now. It just comes because you must feel before you go to St Kilda, you must feel like this is just meandering along.
I've thought that from the start.
I know, but the more we see it, the more evidence we get.
This was how the walk and talk was first born. Was when I first heard this announcement. I couldn't contain myself. I'd finished a run and I did a walk and talk saying how this is going to be a disaster, and the year has been written off before it started. And the club pushed back and go, "Oh, Kane doesn't know us. We're never going to give up," and blah blah blah. How's that looking now?
I agree with you. The long goodbye. That's what I'm saying.
You sack the coach, but you want him still there, as if that is ever going to work. And then who's running the midfield? I don't know. How can Garcia and Winhager and McRae, who the Western Bulldogs didn't want, get the job done against Rosie, Wines, Juan Francis, Drew, Butters? How did that happen? Like 4-1 from stoppage in the first quarter, 8-1 from stoppage was the result at the final siren. I don't understand it, but I've got the Saints, so let's give them their flowers. No stars, no worries. St Kilda's no-name midfield and makeshift forward line out-toughed Port Adelaide in a brilliant backs-to-the-wall Ross Lyon type win. Congratulations to them. It was gritty and they were too good.
I think it's more than that. I think you're going unders on the Saints.
What more can I say?
I think we're starting.
They're not good. They're not good.
What do you mean they're not
good? The Saints are not good. Any thought that the
But
Saints...
have some vision, man. We had this discussion about the Suns 2 years ago. I want you to look at the Saints in the same way. Garcia is going to be a player. Did you see some of the things Collard did?
Yeah,
like he was clean.
But
I'm not worried about mentions. I'm not worried about mentions, right?
Got good young players. Every team does.
But you've got to recognise the coming out of the ashes, right? They got Wanganeen,
they're not
Miller,
in the ashes.
Wilson.
They played finals 2 years ago. Like, they're not in the ashes.
You've been saying they're bottom four.
Well,
that's ashes.
Well, yeah, I have been, and maybe. Well, I'm holding on it. I'm holding.
You're bottom four.
I don't know if they're bottom four, but they're not.
Well, that says you're holding. If you're saying you're holding on bottom four,
I think they win between 8 and 10 games. Bottom four was 8 wins, I think, last year. So I'm holding on it.
There's no way they're bottom four.
Okay.
Absolutely no way. And I just want to
where
recognise.
Are they then?
Well, I think they're.
You call it. I've called it. You call it.
I'm trying to tell you that I think you've got to recognise some of these kids. I thought Hall showed some real good signs. Travalia did some promising things. 5 scoring involvements, thought he was terrific. Yeah, they got the senior core players shouldering the load in McRae and Sinclair, but Wanganeen Miller is going to be a top liner in this competition. And Wilson, I'm amazed by some of the things that he does. I think that they're going to come forward quicker than you give them credit for.
So they call it this year, though. I'm not talking about 3 years' time. I've called it. You think they're a genuine finals contender now? And what
yeah, 100% they are.
Port
100%.
Adelaide, they haven't beaten a whole lot.
You win on the road. Winning on the road's hard to do.
Against
winning
Port,
on the road is hard to do.
You've smashed Port and told me how bad they are for.
But
for,
Port
for 6
Port
weeks.
are the biggest flat track bullies you have ever seen, right? They beat bottom 8 teams. They beat bottom 10 teams, and they didn't beat this one. You got to recognise it. I think that Ross is doing a terrific job, and if the back office,
I've said all of that.
But you haven't. You've said they're bottom 4, mate.
Yeah, I said
you can't say I've said all the glowing stuff.
Holding
if they're
on.
Bottom 4.
I said I'm holding on bottom 4. We all make predictions. You predicted Fremantle to win the premiership at the same time I predicted St Kilda to finish bottom 4. So we all get stuff wrong in the pre-season.
Yeah.
I'm just holding on the fact that they're not genuine contenders this year. Whether it's bottom 6, bottom 4. Bottom
what
8.
I'm saying that we're seeing the build of a very good team. If they can land De Koning, if they can land Leclerc, if they can land Bergman, then things can change really quickly. Jay Clark talked about it last night. They could actually spike in a serious hurry if they get the ability to play Marshall forward. Things with this list now, I think it's on the back office to support Ross. Get these deals done.
I think they're trying. I don't think they can try any harder. The back office, they're chucking out.
Don't get one done. There's no point getting one done. Try and get 2 and 3 and really step forward like the Adelaide Crows did.
Kingy, you've got your Kangaroos.
Nightmare on Arden Street. And Freddie Kruger was Freddie Boss. He was unbelievable with his kicking, wasn't he? I mean, he's
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice. He was terrific, and he was. The boys were saying this morning that he was a swap for the Luke Parker pick.
Was he?
Yeah, so he's involved in that. So he had 26 disposals and he didn't miss. 7 scoring involvements. He was terrific. Heaney looked better. I thought Rowbottom was very good. And no one enjoys a smashing like your man Will Hayward, who kicked 4.
He was giving him a bit more credit than that.
You don't give anyone credit. Don't tell me to start handing out flowers.
Give him some credit. Give my man Hayward credit. He's the best player on the ground by a mile.
For Alistair Clarkson to reference the Sydney Swans grand final team is just a complete nonsense. They had 8 players out of the grand final team, and these are the guys that come in. Tell me one of these guys that actually would have made their grand final team better. Bias we're only just learning about now. Wicks, Laddams, Hanley, Cleary, Sheldrick, Corey Warner, or Hamling. Not one of those guys would have made them any better grand final day. This is effectively a VFL team with 3 or 4 stars tacked on. Guys like McCartan, Rowbottom, Heaney, and Warner. That's it. They won with less yesterday, the Sydney Swans. And I think the messaging from the Kangaroos has got to be honest and clear. They'll still turn up. The faithful are passionate, but don't lie to them. Don't treat them like fools, because if they turn, it'll get real ugly.
And when are they? Do you feel that tide starting to shift against the coach?
I just think you've got to be careful with your messaging. And to suggest that we played the all-conquering grand final team of last year is not right. That's just having a end of us. And then the stuff about not protecting the corridor and playing wide, I just think there's a really disappointing performance. They still scored 120 odd points and they moved the ball at will. Yeah. It was an uncompetitive performance from a defensive point of view, and still we're yet to see any defensive stability.
Nothing defensively.
Yeah, and I think the North people are saying, how can we go and watch St Kilda on the road and do that? How can we go and watch the Richmond Footy Club building so quickly and do what they did against the Brisbane Lions? How can we watch lesser teams perform better than what North Melbourne are with those elite draft picks? So the questions are being asked by the fans. Now, that doesn't necessarily create any waves, but don't give us waffle and spin and lies in the post-match and treat us like fools.
All right, Adam Simpson sort of waiting there. There was a clip going viral on social media about him saying that he's a North Melbourne person. How long before that call is made?
To Simo?
To Adam Simpson, I'm just asking, as a North...
Was it the Masters at the moment? No.
I don't think that call will be made?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think, as Jared Waitley likes to say, it's not pressure to keep your job, it's pressure to do the job. And there's a difference. But I do think he has to show us that defensively he can get it done. Because if Ross Lyon was in charge of the Kangaroos, would they be a better defensive outfit right now?
Yes, they would be. Sydney are in a good position, 2-2. Season's back on track. Huge game Friday night against Collingwood. They dismantled the Roos, kicked 11 goals to 3 off turnover. And the positive was that they didn't get a whole lot out of Warner and Heaney, who are still well below their 2024 best. So I think there's plenty of upside to come. Dean Cox is going to join us very, very shortly.
Just before you leave it, Caleb Daniels shouldn't kick in for a month.
Oh, what?
Did it again.
I saw it. I've written it down. And
24 kick-ins for the year, and he's coughed up 4 goals, which is the second most in the competition. Yeah. He's meant to be a stabilising impact down back, not the cough-up king.
Some defensive stuff again that you won't want to watch either. And Jack Darling's recruitment was perplexing and still is perplexing, and he probably finds himself at a lower level, I would have thought, which is not great. Brisbane got it done comfortably, really, as much as Richmond were brave in their fight and played some good patches of footy, but they scored 118 points. They scored 9-3 from stoppage. And the Ashcroft brothers, you just heard a highlight there with one of the goals of the year from Will, combined for 13 score involvements. Are they the next version of the Dacos brothers? Probably, because they were both good. And Brisbane, along with Hawthorn, are the best team in it.
Yeah, they won like a good team, didn't they? They put it to bed early, 55 points up, I think, halfway through the third quarter, and then just whacked into cruise control, put in a neutral down the hills and just cruised on home. But, Chris Fagan will talk about not being thrilled about the last quarter and all that sort of stuff. It's just a perfect result, isn't it? If you can come to Melbourne, get the 4 points, uninjured,
yes,
have a little lesson, a little clip for the troops on the way home about the fourth quarter, just to keep them on edge, and everyone's happy.
Good players in form. Lockie
Good
Neal,
players.
42, back doing that. So,
Hugh McDamage.
That'd be thrilled with the start to the season. Finish top 2. Don't leave the Gabba until grand final day, and there we are again. They're in a really good position. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Let's move on to last night at Optus Stadium. Oh, the Tigers. Sorry, King.
Tigers. The Cubs are cooking, man. I'm telling you, LA Law. He's a beauty. He's just going to be something special. He's LA Law, is he? 24 disposals, 10 scoring, 2 goals, 1. He's actually become one of the top small forwards in the comp already. And that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but he's had more score involvements than the Wizard, more score involvements than Dylan Moore.
That's crazy.
More score involvements than Shai Bolton. And I just think that whatever he does goes on the scoreboard. They're the sort of players we love. Hate the accumulators, love maximum damage. Trainer's looking really good. Seth Campbell's looking really good.
Armstrong looks good.
Brown's looking really good.
Yeah.
So Richmond fans are getting excited about going to the footy again. Blight, we love Blight. 13 goals against Brisbane, and they should be happy. They should be bouncing into work today, but they've got an absolute top liner in LA Law.
I like it. Some good numbers. All right. Fremantle held on bravely against the Bulldogs. They lost Luke Jackson late in the third term with a hammy injury, so that's not ideal for them. The interchange stuff was topical. It's been hot in Perth. I think they've played 4-day games and they were good. Kingy, what did you make of your Fremantle Dockers?
Third highest scoring first half they've had in 10 years. 11 goals at half time. We haven't seen them play like that. Now, I get a lot of feedback from the Freo supporters. When they handball and run and gun, they are brilliant. And we just saw a couple of kicks on the weekend. There was one from Chapman where he pulled it from the right half-back flank deep on the boundary back into the corridor. I did it once or twice in the first half, which is enough, Cornsey. That's all I want to see. I just want to see an aggressive corridor attack that's in the kit bag. You don't have to use it all the time, but if you can, and they certainly didn't in that second quarter, and play with genuine speed. So that was all I was looking to see. They kicked 11 goals at half time. There were 10 games last year where they kicked less than 11 goals. 10 games. So this is a bit different, and it was a gutsy win in the end. Lost Jackson, lost O'Driscoll. They'd already made their sub. There's a couple of guys there that don't look like they can run out the game. So I think they were seriously banged up late and hung on. It was a good win.
It was a good win. So to kick, 15 goals from 44 entries, and the late second quarter charge, they were so efficient going forward. We just hadn't seen that much at all, as you rightly pointed out. Tracy, enormous. Bolton's going to be a really good addition for them. Really good. Like his speed. He stuffed that kick up late, which should have been another goal to himself probably, but he's the perfect addition, centre bounce forward player. So Dockers...
Just to ask you a question, right? So when you see that ball movement and them able to put 6 goals on, I think they kicked 6 goals from 10 entries, right? So when you see that ball movement, the forwards that are already high calibre, they must be thinking, gee, this is we're ready to go here.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Good. So the Western Bulldogs, I got a statement for you this morning. Sam Darcy's now the best player in the competition. Sam Darcy's he's the best footballer in the country right now.
I don't disagree with you.
That's amazing. I did a top 50 thing for Channel 7 in the preseason. I think I had him in the 20s. His development and improvement is mind-blowing. And what is he, 21? What's it going to be? And is there any danger someone can help him? Like, is there any danger? If you are playing alongside of him, you've got the best job in football. We saw the McNeil goal late was just as a result of how paranoid Fremantle became on Darcy, where McNeil's opponent goes back to help in the air against Darcy, did the right thing. Darcy crashes the pack. McNeil kicks the goal late because his opponents go, I need to protect against Darcy. This is frightening, but they need someone to come along with him. And if I'm Darcy, if I'm the Western Bulldogs fans, if I'm Luke Beveridge, how upset would you be at Aaron Norton's lack of anything? Like 9 years they gave this guy, and he just has to contribute, and he's been unable to contribute. So until they get some help for Darcy, it's a lone hand. But I've never seen anything like it. It's, as I said a few weeks ago, it's Wayne Carey-esque, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
It's the game stops when the ball goes in his area. He made Alex Pearce look like a B grader, and he was doing his best. Right? I'm not having a go at him. He just made him look like he couldn't compete. So he had a 25 rated game yesterday. 25 for a key forward.
Put that into context for those that aren't. So sort of 17, 18 is a really good game?
A super game. If you average 14 for the year, you're probably all Australian, right? So he's had a 25 rated game. Sarong had a 29 rated game. He is in unbelievable form the last couple of weeks. But you're right, Talls just don't do this. They just don't. They don't have the wherewithal. There was a handball that he did back in the corridor inside 50 that should have set up a goal. It didn't. It was a point in the end, but it was a 15-metre inboard handball. He's kicking on his left like he's Darren Kapler, right? And then all of a sudden he's knocking him. His goal kicking's pure.
Darren Kapler.
Remember Darren Kapler? Remember him? Old Swanee. But I just love how they're prepared now to go to him at any time as well, Cornsey, because they know what they've got.
I don't know about the Dogs. I mean, they've beaten their wins don't look great, do they? Carlton, they hang on and win. They beat North Melbourne.
They're banged up.
They're a little bit banged up, but I'm not sure the reinforcements are coming like most people think. Waitman's indefinite. Treloar, not sure when he's going to be back. Multiple hammies. Bont's still 4 weeks away, according to their injury reports. I'm not sure where the reinforcements are coming, and the draw gets a little bit tough for them.
Geelong, if you come down to G-Town and play their game, see you later.
See you later.
Simple as that. They've won 21 of their last 26 down there, and look, it's an interesting game, isn't it? Melbourne are not going good enough or well enough to challenge Jezza and Patrick Dangerfield, who ripped the game to shreds, really. I love him forward to centre. I love him in the forward 50. He's so powerful and just such a difficult matchup. I mean, they've got three guys down there now that are so difficult to match up on, and if you get it wrong on Cameron, Myers and Dangerfield, if you get it wrong on two of the three, you're in real strife. So if you look at their forward 50 contested possession differential, so they're +7 in terms of the forwards beating the backs, +7. That's their third best result in 50-odd games of footy. And they've played some pretty serious footy in the last 50 games. So that just shows you their forward line is now sorted. So they're becoming an ever-present threat now, the Cats.
I said on Saturday morning that as a player, sometimes the moment hits you where you realise you don't have it anymore. Like, I think we've all probably got that later on in your career. You go, I don't know if I've still got it. I think Simon Goodwin should be questioning him and his coaching staff to say, do we still have it? And if they're not, after that coaching tactical performance, I think something's wrong. Because they were never winning that game of footy. I'm not sure what the plan what they thought was going to be to allow Geelong to take 145 uncontested marks, to have not look like being able to score again. For 4 years, we've been speaking about the inability to move the football. 4 years at Melbourne, and that hasn't been solved. Their midfield is now not the weapon it once was. I just get the feel, like, why is it just players that wake up and go, I wonder if I've still got it? And I'm not saying he puts his hand up and walks away, but I think in the back of his mind somewhere he'd be going, 4 years I haven't been able to solve this problem, and we've just gone to Geelong and been embarrassed tactically. Do I still have it anymore? I don't know. There's no shame in it, but the game moves quickly. Alistair Clarkson's probably still thinking the same, as much as he's a legend of our game. Do I still have it? I think that's a question that is well worth asking.
So you're talking about the mechanics.
Box.
Sorry.
Well,
mechanics of the game, or you're talking about the motivation? What are you talking about?
The plan to go into the game with Sparrow coming up as a half forward.
This one given game, or in general?
Well, the whole thing in general. For 4 years, we've been talking about their inability to move the footy with any method. And we're still talking about it. And not only that, now they've lost their strength, which is their ability to score from stoppage. But this one game as well, you go, how have we allowed Geelong to toy with us? And that was so evident 5 minutes into the game. Gawn's playing back behind the ball. Sparrow's coming up, which allows Geelong not one but two spare defenders behind the ball. They're able to manipulate time in possession, make you defend. And they're never going to score ever in that game, as much as they held on and didn't give up with their effort.
Yeah.
It was tactically.
I'll play devil's advocate, right? Yeah, no, I know you already. But just sell me a plan how they could beat Geelong. In Geelong.
Will not put three
No,
behind the ball.
sell me a plan though.
Well,
Sell me the plan going down the highway. How did you want them to play and expect them to win?
Well, in a way that is going to score, Kingy. So
But they've never been a good forward line. They've never.
So give up. So go there. Go there with a thought.
Well, if
that
you're expecting
we can't
something
win.
to happen that's never happened, that would be the definition of insanity, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm telling you, what's not going to work is allowing Geelong to have three spare behind the ball and allow them to.
So give me the plan. What's the plan he should go with?
Well, not send Sparrow up to give them the spare behind the ball.
Yep,
Not
so hold six.
Not have Gawn dropping back like he's Sean Wren in 1990, playing a kick behind the play. Not doing that. Get your best contest players around the football. Don't start Oliver on the bench. If you're going to give Oliver 6 years, $6 million, get your competitors around the footy, certainly for the start. They start Pickett in there. They start Oliver on the bench. Get Petrarca in and around the football. That's what you got to do. You've got to score. You can't allow them to have the numbers back like they did and take 145 marks. You think when they'd taken, 40 of their uncontested marks, you might try and shut that down? You think you might get right up the backside of them and shut their uncontested marks down? I don't know. But I'm telling you, the method that they went in with from 5 minutes into that game was evident they were never winning that game of footy.
No, I understand. I understand the logic in the discussion, but I don't think they can have a shootout with anyone. They just don't score as a footy club. They have no punish in their game. If you look at in 2022, AFL 10th for punishing. 2023, AFL 10th. 2024, AFL 17th.
So that's what I'm saying to you.
So they can't set the game up like that, mate.
So that's what I'm saying to you. That's why you wake up this morning and go, do I still have it?
Yeah. So I find it would be silly to set up an offensive game against Geelong.
Well, it couldn't have been any worse.
Well, they could have lost by 100 points if they did that. They can't score at the best of times.
So they're going into games knowing they can't win, but so they don't lose
Probably.
by 10. They lost the previous two games by 10 goals plus.
Yeah. I think they know where they're at,
so
mate.
they've gone into the game going, we cannot win this game of football. What we're going to do is not lose by 10 goals again. And that's
They were
why
2
I'm
goals
saying
down
to
at
you,
three-quarter time.
That's why I'm saying to you, but they didn't look like it. They did not look like it, ever winning that game of football. So if you're going into a game thinking, we're not going to win, but we don't want to lose by 6 or 7 goals, that's when it's time to go, I don't have it anymore. I just don't. And that's okay. That might be okay, but...
You can't. Look, my view is they're rebuilding on the run. We are seeing Langford,
No, I like all that.
Windsor,
I agree with you.
Chandler. Chandler's a bit older than those guys. But
McVee when he comes back, there's heaps of them.
younger. There's enough there to refresh, isn't there?
Yeah, no doubt. So
We talked about this last week on the Super Saturday with Jay Clark. It's okay to work out where you're at. It would have been better in hindsight to have done it last October. They didn't do that, and it could have purged Oliver and got something for him. Satisfied Petrarca, you want to go, mate? Okay, we're going to turn the page. Then you are in a full-blown rebuild after winning a flag. There's no problem there. If they are 1 year too late for that, Cornsey, does it really rock them? I think there's more value now in Oliver than this time last year.
Yeah, but there's a heaviness and a weight on the football club that to me feels like there needs to be a reset of the club. And
Of a coach?
All of that. I mean, they're going to have a new
Would
CEO.
you walk Goodwin?
Not now. But
At the end of season?
I said last week he's got 6 weeks to turn this around in terms of their game style. They've reviewed it in the off-season. There's been no improvements. You got 5 or 6 weeks to show some improvement in this and to show that you still do have it. So it's not a discussion for today, but it's a discussion that will be certainly there throughout the year. Also strange was this comment from Andrew McWalter on the way they used Oscar Allen on the weekend.
So the Giants are one of the best intercept marking teams in the competition, particularly Sam Taylor. So we actually gave Oscar the role on Sam Taylor today, and I thought he competed really well. It was a step in the right direction. I know probably didn't hit the scoreboard like he would have liked, but that was just a choice we made going into this game.
What a fall from grace. The skipper's now being used as a tagger, as a key forward.
That's just bizarre, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, what's going on at West Coast?
What the fall off on this? He didn't toss the coin. I would have thought after the week that he's had, right, you're the captain. I'm going to go toss the coin and I'm going to show that I'm back. Tim Kelly I think it was 100 club games or some insignificant milestone. tosses the coin. And then Oscar Allen is being used as a decoy / tagging forward on the opposition's best key defender. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
And Liam Duggan decided as co-vice captain he wasn't going to bother to chase 2.5 minutes into the game. He doesn't bother to chase Darcy, my little man, the kid with the lid, Darcy Jones. He doesn't chase Darcy. He says he's going 150 yards. I'm not going 150 yards. I'm going about 75. That'll do me. GWS, we didn't quite get to them.
Didn't.
I just want to talk about the small ball mauling that went on up there. I know Jesse kicked all the goals. 9 goals. Now,
Was it 9 kicks? 9 kicks, 9 goals?
I think it might have been close to that.
I think it was 9 kicks, 9 goals. Unbelievable.
Why waste them? Why pass them? Why not cash in when you play the Eagles twice? You know, playing the Eagles twice will separate the Coleman.
Yes. So have you got the...
Yeah, the Giants play them twice.
Who else?
I haven't got the...
Okay,
I haven't done the whole bloody thing, man. Jesus. I think Adelaide do. I had a look yesterday. I think Adelaide do, so a text might
He loves nothing more than beating up on them.
That's bad news for you. I'll tell you who likes beating up on the minnows. Tom Green.
Okay.
As a midfielder. Versus the bottom 10 last year, 17th rated player in the competition versus top 8, he drops to 62nd. Did it again yesterday. Okay. He's on watch for me. He's on watch. I want to see Tom Green versus top 8.
Flat tracker.
I'm just watching him. 2025 is a refresh. We give him a clean slate, but he'll be on watch.
All right, they got the Saints this week. Then they've got Adelaide, the Western Bulldogs, and Sydney. That's the Giants' next 4.